Hey, welcome back. Well, you might remember from a previous video that I changed the transmission filter and fluid in this 1977 Savannah van. Got a better piece of cardboard to lay on after that fiasco. It did not do the job. Yeah, there's no second gear in this, so I do have third. There's no fourth. And I've never done a transmission rebuild, but I'm going to attempt it. Then if I can't get it, I'll take it in and have it done. I bet that was loud. Okay, let me get started. Well, I didn't show it, but I removed the shifter mechanism. It's the tells you park neutral drive, the electronic part. This is the back of it. And you can see where the holes go. Bolts go. So I can get it lined up. It's the same way on the front. When I put it back on, of course. Let me see if I got something pointless. I don't know. Right up there. This is not the wrench I used. There was a nut holding the shift cable on, and I took it loose as a transmission, of course, and I think I got another nut way back up in there that I'm gonna have to get to eventually, but I took the shift cable has an arm on it, and I took it off of here, and I did have to file this down a little bit. These ridges right on, well, actually the bottom side I got lucky. The top side seems to be smooth, but just a little bit with a file in it, slid right off. This mechanism I'm speaking of right here. I went to disconnect the electrical, but it didn't want to come loose because they're glued on the inside with some glue of some sort. You got to heat up with a gun, and after breaking a connector snap or two that holds it on, I decided just to take the whole darn thing off at once. And actually the nut in the back here is, you can get to real easy, but the one in the front, the electrical cables and stuff are in the way that attach to this, of course. And I'm still able to fish a 13 millimeter down open end and get it broke loose, and then I had to go a little at a time and maybe use a pair of pliers to get the rest of it out, but it's going to be a bear putting back in. I disconnected the exhaust sensor, O2 sensor, from this side of the pipe, and back to this. You can see a little leakage right through there. Now, the reason I tried to take those connectors off is because they said this transmission had been rebuilt, and I figured if they've done it once, it'll be pretty easy to do. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think they've been into it, unless maybe they did the servo or whatever it is on the outside, because none of the connections, plastic pieces, were broken, and they're very brittle. And I know if somebody had been in here before, it'd be all, everything would be messed up, broken and all. So everything's connected factory-wise. It looks really nice, but you can see the leak here. So if they'd been into it, they obviously did not change that seal, which should have been done. You always do that because they're a pain in the arse once they start. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and pull the pan off. Anyway, I'm trying to follow the procedures from the shop manual, and I'm going to go ahead and drop this pan now and try and keep from making a mess out of myself here. Well, I've just about got the pan off. The fluid's drained out. Then I'm going to put it back on with 4 bolts just to keep it covered. Alright, I believe it's time to take the drive line loose, so I'm back at the rear end. I have the as you can see, the markings there on the drive line itself, so when I go to put it back, I'll have it lined up the same way as the factory had it originally. Matter of taking 4 bolts loose. Alrighty, these are 18s. And I'm not sure the torque that they're on there with, but they're pretty tight. Okay, got the bolts out. I'm going to have to pry the yoke away from the rear end here. Okay, took a rubber mallet right there and gave it a few whacks. It moved forward a little bit and fell off. Sometimes you can just take a screwdriver and pry them forward, but no, not this one. Moving right along up to here, I have to just pull it out of the tail shaft of the tranny and slide it on back, and it should be coming out. There's my easy button. That was easy. According to the shop manual, the next thing I need to do is position the transmission jack underneath the transmission. And that's what I'm going to do. This Harbor Freight transmission jack that I've had floating around for a while. Well, it looks to be positioned about where I want it. Now the book says, shop manual says, to remove the mount, or take the nuts loose that are holding the mount and the transmission to each other. They're back over right in there. I believe these are the bolts they're talking about. This one holds the transmission to the mount, and the mount has a bolt here, and of course one on the other side, which you can't see. Okay, these are 15s, and you're going to need a deep well socket on this one here. Let me go ahead and take this loose, and this one nut, and see what happens after that. Okay, looks like the little thread locker on there, and I think I can take these 2 loose here. Those nuts on top, and then those 3 over there, and then drop this cross member, which will allow me to get to those 2 mount bolts, one on each side. So the cross member I'm going to go for next. That's a 19. Bet you dollars to donuts the top spins. Bet you have a little trouble getting it loose too. Need to break the nuts loose first. And I might just go get some lubricant. Welcome back, guys and gals. We got Tom underneath here, and he's been pulling a few of these 460s in his life. Tom, how many of these, when did you start pulling transmissions? How old?
17.
17? Okay.
A long time ago.
Long time ago. We're not going to tell you how old he is, but he doesn't have gray hair like me yet, so he's a lot younger. He breathes better, and he's a lot stronger than I am. So I got Tom going to do this transmission for me that I started, because I'm getting too old for this. And we'll go underneath. He's pulling the converter pan bolts now, most likely. And then we're going to do probably the cross member. I think that rooster's going to be a chicken dinner one of these days. He keeps that up. Got the cover pan off so we can see the torque converter. Tom, were you going to try? You said you were going to drop the torque converter?
Yeah, well, no, the torque converter stays in the transmission until we get it out.
You're just taking it loose?
Yeah, just taking it off the bolts off the flywheel.
Oh, just in case, make a mistake.
Yeah, I always take converter out with the transmission.
Well, that's what I thought, because I didn't think you had enough room to pull the converter off. That's probably one of the heaviest parts there. But that transmission jack, I have another transmission, it's a 4L60, and I set it on that jack, and I tried to tip that jack over one way or another, and it just would not tip over. So you can feel confident the jack is not going to move, but the transmission could slide. That's why we have the strap on it.
Yep, exactly.
Tom, you notice this is an old style, the last of the single piece cases. Did you notice that?
Yeah, yeah.
That's going to make it a little more difficult maybe to work on the inside, but it's kind of nice you don't have to buy a special tool to take that case apart that people have trouble with.
Yeah, exactly, because that two-piece, it's got the big Torx bolts that holds the housing on,
Yeah.
and it's like a 51,
Oh yeah.
and they're Loctite in. Sometimes you can't even get them out.
I've noticed they've used a lot of Loctite on the bolts here too.
Yes, yes they do.
Cross brace is off. The cross brace is off. You said, did you get the cross member already? Mm-hmm. I mean, not that, but I mean the
Perforator, done.
exhaust pipe.
Didn't have to do it.
Oh, it's up front.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm glad I didn't lose those suckers up. I sprayed them.
Did you?
Yeah, that's some very good stuff right there. Did not have to drop the exhaust. I was so surprised. Almost seems like it's almost trying to slide itself over there. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There we go. I should do it.
Alrighty.
What do we got up here? Okay. All right. Shifters off.
Hey, Tom, you're on camera. So what have we got to do next, Tom?
Just ballast bolts.
Valve housing bolts, and
Yep.
we drop it, right?
That's it.
All right. Well, let's do it. Are those the fuel lines that it look like?
Yep.
Okay. Well, be careful because they are fuel lines.
Yep.
You do not want to get your face in there. Flywheel tool. Stupid.
You can go and pull that dipstick out.
I am. That might be giving us trouble. Okay. The dipstick tube's being a pain. Just has to get out of the way, right?
What's that?
Just have to move it up out of the way.
Yeah. Just trying to get it out right now.
Okay. Well, the dipstick tube is out, but I'll tell you, it was a pain. And it's partially out. One last bolt. I'm trying to make come down without the exhaust having to be pulled. Find out in a minute.
that side or this side?
Probably easier up this side in the front maybe. Would you drag that out of the way?